This is a training video for SGN GOLF. We run TeamViewer, which is what gives us access to all of the simulator bays, and we're going to give you full access to this. So this is what you're going to see. To get to the bays, we're going to go to devices right here. You'll see all of the locations right here. So we're just going to, if somebody calls in, they'll say we're on Lebanon Bay 8. So we'll just find Lebanon, go to Bay 8, double click on that. It'll say down here it's connecting. Sometimes it takes a little longer. So we are actually on Bay 8 right now. The way TeamViewer works, you are able to push through commands from your keyboard and your mouse. And then you can also use these buttons up top to do some of the actions. So we run multiple screens on all of our simulator bays. So the way you can toggle through those screens is with this button right here. This will switch from one screen to the next screen. You can also go to View and go to Monitors, and you can show all the monitors on one screen. So we're seeing two monitors right here. This one's just a blank screen right now, but if there were something on that bottom screen, it would show up here. You can also go to Actions, and you can go to Send Alt Control Delete. You can reboot the computer from here. Those are really the only things you're going to need to use, is just Actions, View, and then toggling between these different screens. So one of the more common calls we get is people will come into the facility and they'll walk into their bay and it'll look like everything's turned off. You can check this on TeamViewer. If you go to, if they say they're on Mason Bay 5, you can go to Mason and you can see this little green light is showing that the bay is active. So what you'll want to tell them to do is touch the top touch screen or shake the mouse, and that'll wake the computer up and wake everything up. Sometimes the projector will be turned off, so if that's the case, if everything wakes up but the main projector isn't turned on, you'll just want to tell them to find the projector remote and turn the projector on. The other way you can wake the computer up is just by clicking on it, and that'll open up the bay. Once the bay is opened up on TeamViewer, it's gonna pop up on their end. It's gonna wake everything up on their end, and then they'll probably have some additional questions at that point. If they don't know that the computers wake up when they touch the touch screen or shake the mouse, generally they're fairly new to the facility, so we can run through some general questions that they might have after that too. The games do freeze up from time to time, and the way we're going to take care of that is we're going to close down the virtual golf software. So there's a couple ways we can do this. The easiest way is going to go to Actions and send a key command, and then on our keyboard we're going to hit the Windows button, and that's going to bring up this. You can also have the customer swipe up on the touch screen, and it'll bring up this Windows menu also. So what we're seeing here, TPS is the Trackman Performance Studio. That's the software, the main software that we run. And then Virtual Golf is the actual gameplay software. So generally when things freeze up, it's this VG here, and sometimes when it freezes up, it is a blank box. It doesn't even show the green or the VG, but you kind of see the outline of just kind of a box here, because when you scroll over it, it looks like something should be there. So what we'll do is, if the game's frozen, we're gonna right click on it, and then we'll go to Close Window, and that's gonna shut down the virtual golf. If they're in the middle of a round, it's going to take us back to here, and we're going to click back, and then it'll ask us if we want to resume from that same spot that they just left off. So we'll just click resume. It'll load it back in, and generally when it loads back in, it'll be fine, and they'll be good to go from there. So if somebody calls in and they're saying the system isn't reading shots, but it seems like everything's working, nothing's frozen up. You can kind of they can still kind of do everything they would normally do. The way we're going to fix this is by restarting the system. So we'll go to this Trackman button up here, top left, and then we'll go to Quit Game. We're going to say, yes, we want to quit game, and this is going to take us back to the main menu. If they did not sign in with a Trackman account, they're going to lose their gameplay because we have to restart the system to relink the Trackman. If they did sign in with a Trackman account, once we restart the system, they're going to sign back in by either scanning the QR code, or they can sign in here. And then once they sign in, they can go to My Activities, and there will be a spot for unfinished rounds where they can get back into the game. But we're going to go to restart Trackman. We're going to go to this bottom SGN Golf Centerville, click on that, and then we're going to click Exit. And this is going to close out of the software, and then we're going to reopen Trackman Performance Studio right here. And once we reopen it, that's going to reconnect the launch monitor to the Trackman Performance Studio, and they'll be back up and running. The tricky part about this is most of the time people are in the middle of the game and they don't want to lose their gameplay. So what we always tell them is we really recommend they get the Trackman app just in case this ever happens again. And then generally, depending on how far into the round they are, we always try and extend out their time, give them an extra hour or so, so that they can kind of get their round going again or finish up where they left off. So it's going to run through all these pre-checks, and then the system will lock back up. So once it turns back on, you're going to want to tell them to hold off for a second, because if they were to sign back in right now, as soon as the system locks up, it's going to log them right back out. So if they go to course and start setting up their courses and they scan in and get all this stuff done, it's going to log them right back out, and they're going to have to do it all again. So we usually just hang on the line with them and wait for this to lock back up. There we go. And then the code that they have will unlock the bay, or you can unlock the bay from the control panel. Either one will work. If they, kind of what you'll see here is if somebody had a booking right now, it would say their name. So it would say Drew and then start play, and you click on the start play button, and that's where you would use the pin code. I'm going to go ahead and unlock this though. And then you're going to have them, they're back up and running at this point. So they'll just want to sign in with their Trackman account, and then then continue their round. So if they're having issues, and we've run through the previous two troubleshooting steps of closing out a VG and reopening it, and then also closing out of the TPS system, we're going to go through one more step of restarting the computer. You can do that by clicking this reboot button right here. You can also, if we send that key combination, then we can press the Windows button on our keyboard, and then click this, and then click restart, and that'll restart the computer. If at that point they're still having issues, we're gonna want to try and move them to another bay. If there is a bay available. If there's no bays available to move them to, you're going to want to push this troubleshooting support call up to the next up to the next level. So you'll just forward this call to the next level of support. Once when you restart the computer too, so if I were to go to this reboot, the computer's automatically going to relog into the system. It's automatically going to relaunch TPS. It's going to go through all the calibrations all by itself. There's nothing we need to do once we restart the computer. It'll just get us back to this screen, and then it'll lock back up. And from there, if you've done a full computer restart and there's still issues, then there's probably something more going on that we'll have to take a further look at. So we'll just want to move them to an open bay. Every once in a while, when Trackman opens up, it opens up on the wrong screens. So this select activities screen will actually show up on the bottom screen, and the top screen will be blank, or it'll be showing something different. The way we're going to fix this, you're going to have admin privileges to this system. So you're going to want to log in with your credentials. So we'll click on the sign in button down here, and then you can type in your username and password, and that will log you into the system. And I'm going to log into the system right now to show you what that's going to look like. So if I didn't log into the system and I clicked on SGN Golf Centerville and went to settings, this is all I would see. But once I log into the system, which I'm doing right now, you're just going to automatically be logged in. So you won't have to worry about this. It's automatically going to put you in. It'll just say welcome and show your information right there. So we'll go back to SGN Golf Centerville and we'll click on settings. And now, because we are logged in as admin, we're going to see these three tabs up here. We're going to go to extended screens, and then generally I'm going to view both screens. This is what it's going to look like. It's going to be showing all this stuff down on the bottom. So the way we fix this is we want to make sure TPS is selected on screen 1 and the projector is selected on screen 1. So once we do that, it's gonna fix the issue. The other thing people call in about is screen 2 not showing anything. If they ever need to change anything on screen 2, you're going to click on screen 2, which is the bottom screen, and then we can turn screen 2 off. We can put one item on screen 2, or we can do a split screen and show two separate things on screen 2. And then we'll just click on, so we'll click on club delivery, and then we can put anything we want down on the bottom screen. And then on the other side, we can do the same thing. And then we'll just click save. And that is what you're going to see if you are on a course or a range too. The only place where you're not going to see it right there is under shot analysis. So we'll go to practice. We'll go to shot analysis. Open this up, and then instead of seeing the extended screens, it's going to be down here. So we'll click down here, and then screen 2, maximize, and we can put the club delivery down there, and then we're back up and running. People call about the bottom screen a lot because they do want to get certain data down there. So this is how you do it on the shot analysis range. And then we'll go to exit up here in shot analysis, and then I'll show you this range, how we work with the different screens on this range. It's the same process, but you have to go to a different place to find it. So we'll just jump in the range. So the way you get to the extended screens on this range is you're going to click the Trackman button, and then you're going to go to extended screens. And you don't have to be logged in if you're in the course play or you're in the ranges. It's going to show up for everybody. So the customers can actually do this themselves, and we like to teach them how to do it. So I usually walk them through it. Point to the Trackman button, tell them that they can go to extended screens. They can click on screen 2, and then they can set it up from there however they'd like. The other thing about extended screens, so if they're in a course and the screens are flipped, you're not going to be able to fix it from inside the course. So you'll go to extended screens and you'll actually see this locked icon. So it won't let me change the extended screens right now. There's nothing I can do once the virtual golf has already started. So what we're going to do to fix this is we're going to have to exit out, quit the game, and then from here we will sign in to our admin account and go to settings and go to extended screens. So there's no way to fix it from inside the course. You can tell them if they did play a couple holes and before they called in, when we exit out of it, it'll let them resume their game from where they were, as long as we don't close down the TPS software. So we have run through all of the main troubleshooting calls that we usually get. Here I'm going to walk you through the TPS software so we can get a kind of a general understanding of how things work, because we do get a lot of calls of people that just don't know how the system works. So we'll go ahead and do a quick run through of this. So we're on Lebanon Bay 8. If we ever have any issues with people not being able to unlock the bay, you can always manually do it from the control panel, and we've seen the lock screen pop up, but you'll just go in, click on the bay, and then click lock or unlock, whichever you need to do. So once we're in the TPS software, it is pretty simple. If they want to go to a driving range, they're just going to go to practice. So we'll click on practice. We have a few ranges. This is a big flat range, which we generally tell people if you're looking to get distances on your clubs, this is a good one to use because there's no wind and it's flat. This shot analysis range is the one that gives you the most. It gives you the most data. So it, like all of these data tiles, can be viewed in the shot analysis. We've got kind of just a regular, it's a nice looking target practice range. So this is a good one just to kind of warm up on and hit at targets. Performance Center is, it's a range that you hit multiple shots. It's a pretty cool range. Take you in there just so if anybody kind of asks how it works. The other thing too is we're gonna give you full access to these to team viewers, so you can always hop on here and play around on the system to learn it. But how this range works is you just kind of select your distances. So I'm going to hit random shots from 50 to 100. I'll just click confirm, and then once we hit shots, it just kind of we're aiming for this little target, and it compares our score to a tour player's score. So that's it's a good training tool, but we don't, if someone's looking to get warmed up or something like that, we don't recommend that Performance Center one. That's pretty much all there is to the practice ranges. You can dive deep into, there's a lot of stuff you can do in each range, but for now. We're just kind of glossing over this. We do have tournaments. So if somebody's signed into their Trackman account, they'll be able to kind of see all the tournaments. Local tournaments are the tournaments that we run at our location, so SGN Golf. There's global tournaments that Trackman actually puts on. Joined tournaments would be if you were invited to a private tournament. So a lot of our league guys set it up so only certain people can play in a round, and it'll automatically show up for them, or they could just look at all the available tournaments. And then we'll go to games next. So we've got a couple games. We've got different putt games that you can play. All of these on the bottom row right here, any of them that look kind of cartoony, they're good for kind of kids under 10 or people that have never played golf. They are there's different ways to set them up too, so even really little kids can play these games just by putting the ball. So those are good ones for beginners. These closest to the pin and bullseye and hit it, those are more of games for adults, and you can set them up to be easy or hard, but there are multiple games that people can play. And then we'll go back to courses. So this is what most people do when they come in. They warm up on the range and then they play a course. So to play a course, we'll click on course. They'll just select whatever course they'd like. We'll click on this one, click continue, and then so a lot of times people will call in and they'll get stuck on, I'm going to remove myself so you can see what happens. People click add player and then they'll click sign in, and the only way you can sign in is if you have a Trackman account. A lot of times people will try and sign in with their account that they use to schedule. So our scheduling software is different than the gameplay software. So you'll want to verify that they do actually have a Trackman account. Most of the time they don't have that Trackman account. So if they don't have a Trackman account, we recommend they get one. But we generally tell them, don't waste your time signing up and getting it going right now. Just, get one before the next time you come into the facility. So the way you get out of this is we're going to click this back button right here. And then we're going to click add player and then add guests. So you're going to want to play as a guest. And if you do want to get the Trackman account, this is the QR code that you would scan right here. And that would take you to the App Store, and you can get the Trackman app from there. But it does take a few minutes to set it up. So we recommend go ahead and scan it and start downloading it. But if you want to get started right now, you can. So where it says Player 1, if they touch the touch screen right there, a touch keyboard will pop up on the screen, and they'll be able to put in their name, and then they can set their handicap. They can set all this stuff. A lot of guys will put in their name and then they'll just click add guest and go, and they don't realize that the tee box is set up in here. So you'll want to remind them if they're asking how to do this to you can click on the pencil to get back into this player too. So you'll want to remind them that they want to set up the tee box in here before they move forward to the game, because once you're in the game, you can't change your tee box. You're going to have to exit out of the game and come back to this screen to reset everything up. So, and you can have, we tell people up to 5 people in a bay, so they can just continue to add guests in. We'll just continue to add guests. All right, so we've got 4 players now. So before we actually start the game, uh, I generally take them into this settings menu, and we'll click on game settings. So the thing most people like to change is they can change whatever they like in here, but mulligans, people like to turn those on, and then putting. Um, there's two different ways. If you don't want to putt at all, if you just want the system to automatically do it, you can do auto putting, and then you can cut. If you click through these, they'll tell you, auto fixed. It's a one putt inside 10 feet. It's a two putt inside 65, and so it tells you kind of how it works. Or you can do manual putt, where they're actually hitting the putt on the system. And this is the way it's defaulted, manual aim. So they don't have to aim it. They're just kind of hitting it at a distance. And then the other thing that most people like to change is the gimme distance. So we have it set to 8 feet, but they can set it to whatever they'd like. And then you can also go up to these settings up here too. So we'll click on course if you want to turn the wind off, or you can kind of just go through here and set it up however you'd like. And view, generally you don't have to worry about that, but we'll click save settings. So once they're happy with all the settings, we'll just click save, and then we'll be ready to start the game. If they're ever trying to start the game and it's grayed out, it's not letting you start, usually that's because somebody didn't set up their handicap. You'll just see like a blank line right here. So if that's the case, we'll just click on that player and then click on the handicap, and then just click 0 0 or 1 0 or whatever, and click 0, and then it'll set the handicap, and then this will be green again. So if they're not able to move forward with the game, generally it's the handicap hasn't been set up, so it's not going to let them go forward. But it is green right now, so we'll go ahead and click on it and launch the game. All right, so here we have it set up for warm up is turned on, so they can just keep hitting shots right here until they're ready to play. And then once they're ready to play, we'll click ready to play, and now the game is live. So the next shot they hit is actually part of the game. So a couple things they can do inside of the software. We can see that there's 4 people playing right here. If you click on the name up here, it's going to drop down all the players. And then if you click on a specific player, it'll give us a couple options. We haven't hit any shots, so it's only showing us pause play and remove player. But if we were in the middle of a round, it would say mulligan, take a drop, re-hit. So there's a lot of different options. So that's how they're going to do everything in the gameplay, is just by clicking on the player's name, and then picking the player they want, and then doing the action they want. And from there, we can click on the Trackman button. This is how we're gonna get out of the software. So we can click Trackman and go to Quit Game, and that'll exit us out of the game back to TPS, the Trackman Performance Studio. And then you can also do some things in here. So you can see the tees are locked. We're not able to change that. But if you're playing with 4 people and someone did want to leave, you could click edit and then remove player, and then the other 3 players can continue playing. The other thing you can do is you can add people in the middle of the round. So I could add myself in and kind of pick my tee box, click done, and now I added myself in there. You can run through these settings and change some of them. Sometimes it'll let you change some settings, and sometimes it won't. Generally, I just tell them to kind of, if they have questions, I'd be happy to answer them, or they can just kind of play around on the system and figure it out themselves. These this little drone button. This is kind of how you do the flyovers or look at the hole. And like I said before, you have full access to all of these bays. So if you ever want to log on to one of these bays and just kind of just go around the system just to learn it and see how things work. I mean, there's a lot of stuff you can do. You can click on pick different clubs. The club does not matter. The way the system works is it just reads the golf ball data, but the reason they might want to select a club is if they're tracking their stats. So if they select an 8-iron, it's going to save this shot as an 8-iron in their system, in their Trackman app, so they'll be able to get good data on all their stuff. And then if they're in the middle of a round and they want to get out, we'll just click on the Trackman button, and then we'll click on Quit Game. We'll go ahead and quit. That'll take us back to the roster page, and then we can just go back to the main menu from here. And then they do have the option to resume from hole 1. And now that I'm going to sign everybody out here and log in one more time. So that you can see what the Trackman software does. So now that I'm logged in as a player, which is what they'll be, this is the same thing they'll see. They can click on My Activities, and then so if they were signed in with a Trackman account and we did have to restart the computer or anything like that, we'll go to Unfinished Rounds, and it's going to show all the rounds that I have played, but I never finished them. So we'll find the one that they were playing last, which is usually one of the first ones up here, and then we'll just click on that and then click continue, and that'll pull us back into that same round. And that's pretty much the whole TPS software. People generally call in with questions about it, but they're also usually in a rush to get started, so they're not wasting a lot of their time. So they don't usually ask for a full run through of it. They usually just have specific questions, and then as soon as you answer that one question, they kind of say, if I have anything else, I'll give you a call back. So it's generally just they're generally quick calls when they have questions about things. But we always tell them we've got phone support 24 hours a day. So if they run into anything else, just feel free to give us a call back. And that's a pretty general run through of the TPS software.